Saturday Social is powered by FIFA 22 with PlayStation.
We've already got the guests to do their predictions. Some interesting part, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
Some good debate. Now we're going to pick their ones to watch for 2022. But Joe, there's some interesting criteria here, isn't there? They can't just say Mo Salah, for instance.
Oh no, I don't want to hear any really obvious.
Because that's an obvious shout.
Like
We know that
Mo
he's
Salah or Bernardo Silva or
Yeah.
Phil Foden for this one. So what we've done is we've asked them to pick one goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, forward, and team to watch in 2022. We'll go through sort of position by position, and like I said, no obvious shouts in here, seriously. We'll start with the goalkeeper position, shall we? We can see who you've both selected as your goalkeeper to watch in 2020. Same answer.
Yeah.
Straight away, both gone for Aaron Ramsdale. Carl, I'll come to you first. Why have you picked Ramsdale?
I think because when he did sign at Arsenal, everyone was mocking the transfer in a way, talking about the fee, talking about where he's going to fit in. That much money for him to become a backup goalkeeper. Look what he's managed to do. I think he could really go on to do something quite special. World Cup the end of this year as well. I think that Jordan Pickford's got to be looking at that spot thinking, I've got some big competition right now, and if Arsenal can do something special, if they can clinch that fourth spot, they have a great start to the season next year. Why won't he be playing for England at the World Cup?
Will he be England's number one? Because you've picked him as well. Do you think he will be England's number one at the World Cup?
Smithy, I hate this question. Because I love Pickford. He's a legend for England. I'm always at the England games.
And what you've got to bear in mind as well, Pickford for England never puts a foot wrong, does he?
Yeah, I know. It's such a difficult decision because Pickford for England is incredible, always a solid 8, 9, 10 out of 10. And you see him even this season for Everton, he's not on Aaron Ramsdale's wavelength. I think I'd still give it to Pickford, number one. I can't do it. It's hard.
Two good keepers, to be fair. Tough to know. But another, you said earlier, good problem to Gareth Southgate to have. So it's another good problem for Southgate to have.
Good agreement on that one.
Let's look at... Yeah, they did agree, didn't they? Let's look at
Rare. It's a rarity.
See if they've agreed on the defender positions. We're going to have a look at the defenders that they've picked. So these are ones to watch in 2022. Okay,
Here we go.
Kilman for Thogden, Kanate for Kyle. So let's start with Theo. Max Kilman, thoughts behind that one?
I believe he can get into the England squad. He's still young. I think he's 24.
24 years old, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been smashing it in that back three for Wolves this season with Conor Cody and Saiss. He's played every single game. I think he played like half of last year, and he's played every game this year. And I've just seen every single game he drops a solid 8 out of 10. They've only conceded like 14 goals this year.
It's the second best in the league, I think, equal with Chelsea. Only City have conceded less than Wolves.
And he plays a massive role in that.
Yeah.
And you've got to look at players like Tyrone Mings who are in the England squad right now. Max Kilman deserves the chance.
Does he work though in a back two potentially when Southgate plays that back two? We've seen him work really well in a back three, but is it another Conor Cody situation where it doesn't quite fit with the system Gareth wants to play? Yeah,
I think if you watch Max Kilman every week, you'd understand that I believe he can play in a back two. Very good with the ball at his feet, can stick in a challenge when need be. Listen, even if we transition to a back three, if we're trying to hold out a game or change formation, we've seen Southgate do that, he's ready. But I think he definitely deserves to be in the squad.
You've gone with Kanate, so thoughts behind that one?
I'm just so excited to see what he can do. I think he's got a great future, not just the 2022, but a great future ahead of him. And I think that this year will be a pivotal year for Liverpool in that defence because we know they've relied on Virgil van Dijk for so long. We know that when he's been injured, what's happened to Liverpool. So actually, for them to have a defender like Kanate, to have someone that could go on to have a very, very special career, when you've got Virgil van Dijk in a video saying that he's the future, talking about Liverpool's centre-backs and the options they've got, I think it should be very exciting. And at some point, I think that he will force his way into that team and actually take over. And I think then it's going to be interesting to see how they can give all of the great centre-backs that they have got enough football. And actually, obviously in the different competitions, you want Virgil van Dijk, that's a given for everything that he does in defence and attacking as well. And I think for Kanate, he could slip in and actually help that and actually help Virgil van Dijk, and they could complement each other.
36 million, but for still only 22
Great
as well.
problem to have. Great problem to have
for
Jurgen Klopp at that centre-back position. Let's move on to your midfielders to watch then. Again, two different names, but from the same side. Conor Gallagher and Eberici Eze. Okay, let's start with Conor Gallagher because he is flying so far this season.
One to watch because he's going to be in that Chelsea team. I've already said he's going to be starting in that midfield. I have full belief he will. The way Tuchel spoke about him, he loves him. The style of play. I just hope they can fit in a system where Mason Mount and Conor Gallagher can play together. I think what people don't realise is Gallagher played in a deeper role, especially back in the day for clubs like Charlton in the Championship. He was more of a box-to-box. And I think he could play very well next to N'Golo Kante with Mount further up the pitch. So I think it can work together next season. That's why I believe look out for him.
Okay, Eze then, because this is an interesting shout, I think, because he's obviously coming back from that horrendous
Bad
injury,
injury,
isn't
Achilles,
he?
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he tore his Achilles, didn't he, all the way back in May. So what have you seen that you kind of think across 2022 could change?
It was so exciting, and the progression that he was on, everyone was talking about him. People were saying, could he break into the England setup? Will we see him? And I think that if he can have a consistent run of form, playing obviously under Patrick Vieira as well, there's a great opportunity for him to learn so much on the training pitch and then to implement that. And when he does finally get back to playing football and actually get back into consistent games, the injury will be completely forgotten about, and I think he could go on a very exciting run. And I'm going to put it out there, I think he's going to be that player on the fringe of the England setup that's included and everyone's quite surprised by for the World Cup. So I would love to see that. If he gets enough game time, he has to get enough game time towards the end of the season.
What I also, Carl, he was one of those players before his injury that was really highly talked about. I remember his amazing goal for the under-21s as well. He was a key player, big player for them. And interesting, Conor Gallagher in a similar vein of form, played really well with the under-21s, then got his call-up. So there's similarities there in terms of the progression that you both think that they might be players that end up making the World Cup squad, which is interesting. So let's look at your forward positions, because again, you've picked two different players for this. So Jared Bowen, Carl's gone with. You've gone for Harvey Elliott.
Wow.
I have.
So just explain why you've gone for Harvey.
It's a little bit left field. I've gone for Harvey Elliott because I genuinely believe he can start to get into that Liverpool team. We've got AFCON coming up. He's coming back from injury. He's hungry to be in that Liverpool team. And I believe in Jurgen Klopp. He's a very good manager. He'll bring the best out of the young players. We saw his loan to Blackburn. He got up to 20 contributions at 17 years old in the Championship.
Yeah, a great loan spell, wasn't it? Yeah.
Incredible.
But he's been playing more on the midfield,
Exactly what I was going to say. Where do you play him?
On the wing. I play him on the wing.
Because this season, I think when he's played prior to his injury, he was used more as a central midfielder, wasn't he, out of position?
Because Sadio Mane and Mo Salah weren't away. They're going to be missing out for Cup of Nations. If he's back in time, he deserves an opportunity in the position that he knows and loves. He's got every capability to be a regular Premier League player, knocking on the door for that first team at Liverpool. He's got the skill, the flair, the pace. We just need a run of game time. He was very unfortunate with injury. I already think he'd be around the first team right now if he didn't have that big injury.
Okay.
Jared Bowen.
Jared Bowen for you.
He will get an England call-up this year.
Yeah.
He will get an England call-up. I genuinely believe that. I think he's been in the form of his life recently, and I think that actually when you're looking at what he's adding to this West Ham team, it's so exciting because yes, you've got Mikel Antonio, yes, you've got Souček, yes, you've got Rice. Jared Bowen, he's actually, I think, even more important currently because of the form that he's actually in. And I think that for him, he looks like he's just enjoying himself. He looks like it's so exciting. And I keep on putting these names out there and saying he'll get an England call-up.
There's a lot of people in the England squad, Carl, aren't there?
Yeah. There are, but I do believe that he'll get an England call-up this year. Not sure if he'll make the World Cup squad. It's going to be so difficult.
Are you surprised he hasn't got one already, given his form?
I am.
But there's a lot of players in his position, I suppose it's difficult.
You can look back in hindsight and say, oh, maybe he should have. But actually, the form that he's hitting now, I think that it's well deserved. I'm not saying it wasn't before, but now, how can you keep him out of the England setup? You've got to. He's got to be in there.
Do you think he deserves it more than Rashford right now on form? He probably does.
I think so, yeah. I think on form. I think on form, maybe not as a player. I think Rashford's a key player to the way that England play. But I think that actually, Jared Bowen, he's got to be there.
Solid
even
player.
if he's training, even as part of the squad and just being there, putting that stamp on it, saying that you are an England player.
It's interesting, the majority of names you've said so far are English players looking to sort of break through into that English squad, aren't
it's exciting.
they? Let's move on then to the team to watch in 2022. Again, two different sides being picked here. Aston Villa, very interested. Newcastle, I think, slightly more obvious because obviously the money they're going to spend, right, Carl?
Yes, but also if they are relegated, it'll be interesting to watch them in the Championship and actually, but because it's a pivotal moment for the history, I think, or what we will look back on in 10 years' time this season. If they stay up, great. Okay, how do they spend their money? What do they go on to do? If they go down, right. What do we actually do? We're in this for the long haul. The new owners are there. What do we do to get back to the Premier League, but to ensure that we never get relegated again? That's why I'm excited to see which way it does go.
Yeah, I'm excited about seeing what Newcastle can do in Jan actually as well. Aston Villa, is that the Stevie G factor for you, Theo?
Absolutely, yeah. I did say earlier on that they couldn't make top 8, but I think they'll have an exciting season because I went to a lot of Scottish matches when Steven Gerrard was manager of Rangers. And every game was a thrill, shall we say that. And the reason I put one to watch is because there's always going to be a story at Aston Villa this season. And that is the Gerrard effect. He's going to fire them up. They're going to play with aggression. they're going to have some incredible moments, special moments. The whole end's going to be loving it. Will they get top 8? I'm not too sure, but maybe a little cup run from somewhere. I get the feeling something is going to happen to fire up this season.